name is Kendrick Burton, and I'll be going over the etiology of the influenza virus. The influenza virus comes from a group of glycoprotein-enveloped RNA viruses in the family Orthomyxoviridae. As the virus particles gain entrance to the body, they target and attack the ciliated epithelial cells that reside in the upper respiratory tract, bronchial tubes, and trachea. There are 6 viruses total in the family, but only 3 of the genera are associated with the flu. These are the influenza virus A and its subtypes, influenza virus B, and influenza virus C. Influenza virus A. The species of this genus is the influenza A virus. It affects humans, birds, and pigs. There are many different subtypes of influenza A, and they are classified based on the presence of certain variances of surface antigens called hemagglutinin and neuraminidase. There are 16 subtypes of hemagglutinin and 9 subtypes of neuraminidase. As an example of this classification system is the H1N1 virus that caused the Spanish flu, or the H5N1 that caused the bird flu in 2004. Among the 3 different pathogen types, influenza A is the most virulent and is the cause of most severe cases. Because the influenza A virus affects so many different kinds of species, it has a higher affinity for antigenic drift and antigenic shift than influenza B or C viruses, especially in environments where humans, swine, and fowl live together in close quarters, potentially causing a cross-species antigenic shift. Our textbook defines antigenic shift as referring to the constant mutation of the envelope glycoprotein through genetic changes to the ssRNA genome, and antigenic shift as where the 8 separate RNA strands in the influenza virus swap out with a gene or strand from another virus. This is what leads to development of new strains. Influenza virus B. The species of this genus is the influenza B virus. It is less common than influenza A and affects almost exclusively humans, though it is also known to affect seals and ferrets. It mutates at a rate 2 to 3 times slower than influenza A, and because of its slower mutation rate and limited species it is able to infect, it is generally less diverse and does not cause pandemics. The influenza virus B is only known to undergo antigenic drift. Influenza virus C. The species of this genus is the influenza C virus. It affects humans, pigs, and dogs, and is capable of causing severe illness and epidemics on a local scale. But it is usually only associated with mild illness in children. This species differs from the others in that it only has one type of surface glycoprotein called hemagglutinin esterase fusion, and is the only one to show the esterase enzyme. Like the influenza virus B, it is only capable of antigenic drift. So as far as the method by which the virus gains access to the body, what happens is the influenza virus binds to the host cell through key and lock type interactions between its hemagglutinin glycoprotein and sialic acid sugars on the surface of the epithelial cells that line the upper respiratory tract. After the virus is taken into the cell through endocytosis, it releases its viral RNA or more viral proteins to be synthesized. The newly formed virions either are cycled through again to form new viral particles or secreted to the cell surface where they are stuck until the neuraminidase protein cleaves the link between sialic acid sugars and the newly formed virus, thereby liberating it to cause further infection.
Hi, I'm Britton Bean, and I'm going to be talking about the reservoir for influenza. Influenza is a virus that has 3 subtypes: subtype A, subtype B, and subtype C. Subtype A is mainly found in bats, pigs, and birds, and with the birds like ducks or geese. Subtype B and subtype C are both found in humans and only humans. So, our group will now discuss the signs and symptoms relating with influenza.
I'm Anthony, and I'll be talking about the signs and symptoms associated with the influenza. Influenza virus is characterized by acute onset of constitutional and respiratory signs and symptoms. Signs include fever, which can cause febrile seizures in young children, non-productive cough, and sore throat. Symptoms include body aches, headache, malaise, and congestion. Young kids commonly have ear infections, nausea, and vomiting. The flu can cause viral pneumonia, exacerbate underlying medical conditions, lead to secondary bacterial pneumonia or sinusitis, or contribute to co-infections with other viral or bacterial pathogens. So, in other words, opportunistic pathogens take advantage of the fact that your body is at war with the flu. The flu virus also has been associated with brain disease, inflammation of part of the spinal cord, inflammation of the muscles, inflammation of the heart wall, inflammation of the connective tissue surrounding the heart, and Rey syndrome, which is a mix of it causes confusion, swelling of the brain, and liver damage, a mix of other things. So next up is Matt with transmission, treatment, prevention, and control.
Transmission. So how is influenza spread? Influenza is a contagious virus that experts believe can spread through coughing, sneezing, or talking, by which microbial droplets are passed from human to human. They are believed to enter in the nose, mouth, or inhaled into the lungs by the human organism, in which they then begin to take their microbial effect within the body. People infected with influenza can spread it within a 6-foot radius and can infect people up to 1 day, 5 to 7 days after becoming sick. Rarely, but occasionally, humans are infected by touching of surfaces that surround them. Treatment and prevention. How do we stop the spread of this virus? First off, we have to wash our hands. Please wash your hands. We need to disinfect areas that are highly trafficked. We especially need to disinfect areas where we know an infected person has been. If you have to leave in public, it is wise to leave with a mask to prevent the spread of the virus. But what do we do when a person is already infected? When an infected individual is diagnosed, antiviral medication is an option, which will shorten sickness up to 1 to 2 days. There are 3 FDA-approved drugs, which are also recommended by the CDC, which go by the brand names Tamiflu, Relenza, and Rapivab, with the generic names being oseltamivir, zanamivir, and peramivir. These drugs interfere with the release of virions from infected cells by interfering with sodium. These drugs will reduce the severity of present symptoms. Antiviral medication can be beneficial to control breakouts and to reduce complications that can arise from prolonged infection. Some side effects of antiviral drugs can be nausea, diarrhea, stuffy nose, and some behavioral side effects, though these are uncommon. In prevention of the influenza virus, vaccines can be used to preemptively prepare the immune system to fight the virus if it is introduced into the system at a later time. It takes 2 weeks to build up antibodies to the virus, but it is recommended that anybody 6 months or older receive a vaccine for influenza. There are a few types of vaccines that are effective in prevention and control of the influenza virus. They vary from whole, live, or inactivated cells or viruses, and they also range from part of organism preparations, which have been cultured, genetically engineered, or are conjugated vaccines with proteins used to make the individual more immunogenic. A few examples of these vaccines are Florix quadrivalent, which is an inactivated influenza vaccine in which a prefilled syringe injection is used for administration to young children 6 months to 3 years of age. Fluzone intradermal quadrivalent, an inactivated influenza vaccine in which a prefilled microinjection system is used for administration to people between 18 years to 64 years of age. Flucivax an inactivated cell culture-based vaccine in which a pre-filled syringe is used for administration to people under 19 years of age. Flublock, a recombinant influenza vaccine in which a pre-filled syringe is used for administration to people under the age of 66 years or younger. It is also eggless, and so it can be used for people who struggle with allergies. Just a fifth example of that would be Flumist quadrivalent. It's a live attenuated influenza vaccine in which a pre-filled intranasal sprayer is used for administration to people ranging from the ages of 2 to 49. The vaccines are specialized and dependent on age and or allergic responses of the body for infants, children, and adults. Influenza is now presently controlled, and with the technology and progression that we have, will continue to be controlled throughout these times. Now we'll take a look at some additional information that we have found, interesting facts about the influenza virus.
All right, it's Anthony again, and for additional information, I just have one thing to say, and this one thing is, it's the reason why we have vaccines today. The flu pandemic of 1918 killed 20 million people. To put that into perspective, that's equal to the population of the whole state of New York, or the entire population of Wyoming, Vermont, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Delaware, Montana, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Maine, Hawaii, Idaho, West Virginia, Nebraska, New Mexico, and most of Utah combined. So please get your vaccinations.